Black Queen by Tyler Walker.
The mantra of every great counselor is to always weigh your outcomes and never act rashly.
Well, if only lovely Reagan had listened to her own advice.
Now the successful counselor has found herself laid up beside a stranger with a ring on her finger after one too many drinks in Vegas.
What was she thinking? Now she's hitched to a stranger who thinks he's God's gift to women.
Can Lovely break through Gunnar's ego? Or are they headed for the big D?
And I don't mean what's in his pants.
Trust me, this story's hotter than Sin City itself.
Now, if you're wondering where to get all the juicy details that YouTube's too shy to show, slide on over to tylerwalker.com.
Use code SAVE40 for 40% off, because Miss Tyler loves a good discount almost as much as a good spicy scene.
Hit that subscribe button to help us continue to bring free, full romances right to your ears.
You know what they say? What happens in Vegas?
You're listening to Tyler Walker's Black Queen.
Chapter 1. Gunnar. The annual Sharpshooter Bacchanal is the Las Vegas event of the year. Everyone who's anyone wants an invite to this no-holds-barred party where your greatest passionate fantasies come to life. I've had celebrities, politicians, and even princes come into this room. The invitations go out to the cream of the crop. There are 3 criteria you must fulfill to become eligible for an invite: money, power, and women. Oh, and you have to be good-looking just to be fair to everyone else, you know? The goal is to have fun. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience because it's unlikely you'll be invited the following year. The only exceptions are my friends. Every year, the hottest clubs vie for the privilege of hosting my party. This year, the lucky winner is Club Ivy, which is owned by Dickerson Rhodes, the best club owner in the United States. He and his wife have expanded their business to encompass almost every state. They're even thinking of expanding to resorts around the world. We're already in talks about them carrying wines from my brand, Toxic, in each of their establishments. Holding this party at Dick's premier Las Vegas club named after his wife is actually a token of goodwill. The ink is pretty much dry on the contracts, all the more reason to celebrate. Hey, Sharpshooter. One of my best friends calls from the other side of the VIP lounge. You joining us on the dance floor? Maybe later, I say over the loud music. Then I point at the woman currently on her knees between my legs. Busy at the moment. I didn't care for the nickname Sharpshooter at first. I got it in college when I started developing a reputation as a ladies' man. No one seemed immune to my charms, and my smile shoots them directly in the heart. They say I left a trail of wet women in my wake. The nickname stuck when the women started calling me that too. I even named one of my best Merlots after it, a sharp red wine that perfectly matches any meat.
I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at tylerwalker.com.
Miss Tyler has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyler would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyler.
She continues with her ministrations as I look over my party. There are naked women dancing in cages while men throw money at them. On another side, men and women are strategically placed on top of one bar where you can drink body shots off their naked bodies. There's even what I call the meat market. It's an auction for the lay of your dreams. I have high-class, grade-A professionals up on a platform, and my guests can bid on who gets to join them for the night. The person goes to the highest bidder. Sometimes I get the odd request from a guest requesting to be one of the auction items. Who am I to say no? For the price they're paying, and if that's what gets them off, who am I to say no? I have my eye on one of the girls on display. She has the best tits in the place. Currently, the bid for her is $100,000. Hey, Carlson, I say to one of my friends, will you up the bid to $200K for that redhead? I really want to do her tonight. You got it, Sharpshooter. Carlson nods and does what he's told. My eyes move toward the dance floor filled with barely clothed, writhing bodies. I even catch a couple of people doing it right in the crowd. It's the consequence of being here.
Chapter 2. Lovely. Tonight, I find myself in Lotus, the best burlesque club in Las Vegas. It's right beside Ivy, which was originally my friend, Megan's choice for her bachelorette party, but it's fully booked for a private event some bigwig is hosting. It sounds like a hopping party when we pass it on our way in. To say we're slightly envious is an understatement. But we have to make do with what we have. No point ruining the night just because we couldn't get into the club we initially wanted. A dance floor is still a dance floor in my eyes. After we load up on shots and Megan orders bottle service, we decide to dance some of the alcohol away before we drink some more. I, for one, plan on getting completely hammered tonight. It's not every day I get to let my hair down, literally and figuratively. Pretty soon we're surrounded by a group of guys, and we pair off for some bumping and grinding. I can dry hump with the best of them, especially when I'm wearing my shortest, most revealing dress. This sparkly number is nothing like the pencil skirts and button-downs I normally wear for work. In Vegas, there's no such thing as too much skin. My arms are out, my legs are bare, and my cleavage is all the way to my navel. To call my dress skanky is quite appropriate. Your mama will not want to see you in this dress. Of all the guys, I'm paired with the one who has 2 white teeth and has a creepy smile. The entire time his eyes keep wandering to my chest, while his hands keep groping my backside. Now, on a good day, I wouldn't mind, especially if I was attracted to the guy. A little pawing here and there isn't so bad since it's a packed dance floor. I'd be surprised if no one tried to make love to my curves with their hands. But this guy, he's just not my type, and my core agrees. I'm not wet for him in the least. It's drier than the Sahara between my legs. So I do the next best thing. I start dancing away from him. Thankfully, the crowd immediately swallows me up. In a packed club like this, it's easy to lose a person. Plus, I'm sure he's moved on to the next young, hot thing. I haven't danced enough to burn all the alcohol out of my system. My feet are swaying when I make my way back to our private table. Seeing none of my friends there, I decide to go outside for some fresh air. Maybe the brisk night will sober me up a bit. As expected, the cold air bites into my arms and legs, waking me up somewhat from the alcohol's embrace. I still feel warm all over, but I'm more awake as the shivers roll over me. It's certainly brighter out here than inside. My eyes blink quickly to adjust to the difference. Las Vegas truly comes alive at night. It's an adult's playground where anything goes. Nobody walks around here without a drink in their hands. They even have slushies full of vodka. Those you have to watch out for because they get you drunk faster, which is the point in a place like this, I guess. I prefer red wine myself. Can't beat a quiet night at home with a glass of wine and a good book. Maybe even a warm bath. Hands come around me from behind. I'm pulled back against a hard front. Lips are immediately roaming against my neck. At first, my instinct is to lean into the contact. I'm still drunk after all, so my judgment's impaired. But a whiff of cologne jogs my memory. I turn around in the circle of his arms to recognize the guy who's been rubbing up against me inside the club. He managed to follow me outside. I lean back and away from him, but can't break free of his embrace. "What are you doing?" I ask, pushing him away with my hands to no avail. "Come on," he says. "Don't be such a tease. I know what you're all about in there." "What do you mean you know what I'm about?" I glare at him. "Is this man bothering you?" Another masculine voice interrupts. Before I can turn toward my rescuer, I'm pulled away and eased behind someone really tall and who smells so good. I fear a fight's about to break out because the guy who assaults me pulls his fist back. By timing, or because my rescuer's drunker than I am, he vomits all over my attacker's face. That's one way to rescue someone, I think to myself. Sufficiently disgusted, my attacker runs away with his tail between his legs. My knight in shining armor wipes his arm over his lips before he turns around to face me. I have to crane my neck back just to get a good look at him. Oh my. He has the brightest green eyes I've ever seen. I never knew irises came in that color. And his hair? Those reddish blonde locks are begging me to run my hands through them. To say he's the most handsome man I've ever seen is bordering on complete underestimation. What do they say? That truth is stranger than fiction? Well, here stands a guy who might as well be in the pages of a romance novel. Here's a guy my core wets itself for. I wouldn't mind bumping and grinding against him all night. My gaze runs down his body. I wonder if he has a monster shaft to match. Thank you for saving me from that guy, I say, my voice husky with awareness. His grin hits me straight in the lady bits. He's a dangerous man in his own right. A lady killer for sure. I'm happy to be of service. He places his large hands on my shoulders. I encircle his wrists with my fingers and ask, "Is there any way I can repay you?" Heat enters his eyes when he says, "Care to party with me back home?" Now, normally I wouldn't dream of going to a complete stranger's house, but he's more than tempting by half. I nod because why not? He places an arm around my shoulders, holding me tight against his side. We amble together in the direction where I assume he's staying.
Chapter 3. Gunner. I wake from the deepest sleep of my life. Lights out, baby. I don't even know how long I was dead to the world for. At first, I think the banging is all in my head. There's certainly a pounding there from the terrible hangover I'm experiencing. Learn from the pain I'm currently feeling, kids. There are definitely consequences to your choices. Mine happens to be a massive headache from the copious amounts of alcohol I'd imbibed. I don't even remember half of what happened last night. Just snippets returning to me as I lie on my back, pressing the heel of my hand against my throbbing eye. Then, the pounding sound moves from my head to the real world. Someone's at the door, and they're determined to get in. What the hell? At this hour? I don't even know what time it is. I turn to my side in order to look at the clock. What greets me is the dark-skinned goddess I remember rescuing from outside Club Ivy last night. Her. I remember since she's smoking. The rest of what happened after her is all claptrap to me. I smile anyway. She's worth the memory loss. Vegas, man. The place can really do a number on you if you're not careful. She's naked and I'm naked. I see we did make wild, wild love last night, and that it wasn't just a figment of my imagination. Good Lord, I've never met a woman who can match my appetite and raise me more. I honestly thought I was going to run out of positions with her. She shifts in her sleep, revealing a perfectly round mound. All natural, too. No silicone under my palms last night, which is refreshing considering all the cosmetic enhancement happening out there. I lean in to capture those plump lips for myself. I have a mind for some morning play. I want to slowly wake her up with my shaft inside her, one smooth movement at a time. But the insistent knocking on my door shatters all my plans. My eyebrows come together in annoyance. I'm tempted to ignore them, but I don't want her to be disturbed. She looks so peaceful while she's sleeping. Maybe if I shoo away whoever is at my door, I can still fulfill my morning fantasy. I get up from bed, not bothering to put on anything, and pad my way to the door of my penthouse. I run my fingers through my hair, scratching an itch there. I can hear the voices of my friends through the door. They're already up and about, I see. They must not have been out late enough last night. I open the door wide and say, "What?" They all groan and grimace, covering their eyes. One of them protests, "Oh God, don't show us your junk, you pervert. I'm about to vomit." "I think I'm going blind," the other says. Good old Carlson says I've seen bigger. Screw you! I give them the bird with both hands. Screw all of you! They all grin, and I shake my head. It's not like they haven't seen my package before. I mean, we're guys. At some point, we've compared lengths and girths. You know we don't like seeing yours because it makes us feel inferior to your masculine charms, Parker says, while William chimes in by saying, it makes me question my meat's worth. Yours is solid gold, while mine is... I don't even know. You guys are such idiots, I say, chuckling. Haven't we established the fact it's not the size, but what you do with it that matters? You disappeared on us last night, Sharpshooter, Carlson says. That redhead you won from the auction was looking for you. I grimace. I completely forgot about her. I guess that means I'm out 200 grand. At least tell me one of you gave her a good time last night, I ask. She actually came home with me, Parker grins. She's worth every penny, let me tell you. Good. I lean against the door. At least my money didn't go to waste. Because if it was William who took her home... William folds all his fingers but the middle one, and we laugh. You have to tell us what happened to you last night, Carlson begs. We thought you'd gone and died or something. You wouldn't believe what happened to me, I say. I met the most gorgeous girl. She's probably the best lay I've ever had. Where's this mysterious lady? Parker looks over my shoulder. I close the door slightly. A protective streak I didn't know I possess rises. I don't want them to see her in a compromising position. I want all that naked bliss to myself. You'll meet her in time, I say. Now get out of here because I want some morning play before breakfast. It's already noon, William points out. Same difference, jerk. I grin at my friends. Come on, shoo. I wave them away as if I'm sweeping the floor. They all look down at the same time. At first I think they're looking at my junk again. What? Did I get a hard-on or something? Their faces all pale at the same time. I look down. I don't notice anything different. Then Carlson points a shaking finger at my hand. What's that? What's what? I ask, puzzled. The other hand, moron, Parker says. I lift up my left hand and there, on the fourth finger, is a simple gold band. I'm not the type to wear jewelry, so the accessory definitely stands out. It sure fits my finger perfectly. What the hell is this? I ask, mystified. Dude! William covers his mouth. What's the one thing that happens a lot in Vegas, especially when you're drunk? I scowl at him, not understanding his question at all. Oh man, I'm so sorry, Carlson says. What the hell's going on? I ask, starting to get pissed. What kind of joke are you three knuckleheads pulling on me? Sharpshooter, this is not a joke, Parker tells me. You got married last night, dude. Holy hell.
Chapter 4. Lovely. I wake up alone in bed, which I don't mind. I'm sore in all the right places. Maybe he's just getting us some breakfast. I'm famished. I can totally eat anything right now. Wow, what a night. I've never had such awesome lovemaking before. The guy I met actually knew what he was doing. I think I came more last night than I ever have in my entire life, and that's saying something since I do know how to please myself. I stretch and I feel all the good aches and muscles I don't remember having 24 hours ago. Apparently there's such a thing as a unicorn among men. Monster shaft. Talented fingers and tongue. His hip movement is top-notch. He hit my G-spot so accurately, I think my throat is hoarse from screaming, "Oh my God." Over and over again, last night was truly a come-to-Jesus moment. I hear voices somewhere in the penthouse. I gather up the blanket around me and scoot out of bed. I'm off in search of my unicorn man for another session. Yep, maybe one or two more before I leave. That will tide me over for however long it takes for me to meet someone new. I follow the voices and see him standing by the door, as naked as the day he was born. I bite my bottom lip. His posterior is a thing of beauty. as if sculpted out of marble. My fingers still remember how hard those buns felt as I squeezed them when he pushed into me time and again. I'm a few steps away when I hear one of the guys outside say he's married. All the blood in my body freezes. I'm rooted to the spot. Then, as quickly as my shock came, it's replaced by anger. Boiling hot anger that makes me see red. I'm moving before I can think. I turn him around. Then I use that momentum to bring my palm down hard against the side of his face. Within seconds, my handprint forms on his cheek. "What the hell?" he asks, touching his face. "You're married?" I scream. "How dare you take advantage of me? I don't go out with married men." I start pacing, clutching the blanket close to my chest. It actually drags on the floor as I walk. My mind is running a mile a minute. "You told me last night you were single," I continue, "and I was stupid enough to believe you. Of course, a married man wouldn't freely admit he's married. You'll be my one and only mistake in that department. I'm not ever touching you or letting you touch me ever again." All of them look at me in shock. They have their mouths open and their eyes wide. This scenario would have been funny if I hadn't been taken for a fool. This serves me right for leaving my friends to go with someone I don't even know. He's about to say something, his hand still on his cheek, when I cut him off. There's a sacredness to family. What about the children? They're all innocent in this. To think I'm a family counselor? I have a reputation to protect. I shake my head as my pacing continues. What happens when my clients find out? Will I get fired? I love my job. I can't get fired. I rub my face. Oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm definitely going to get fired for this. Excuse me? One of his more innocent-looking friends says. Can you calm down for a second? Men are so stupid sometimes. He just said the worst words to a woman who's clearly in distress. There's no way I'm ever calming down now. What did you just say? I growl at him. He shrinks back. Actually, all of them do. Well, except for the married guy. He's still watching me with absolute disbelief on his face. But if you just listen, he tries again. Listen to what? I charge toward him. What's there to listen? He's married to you. All three men say at the same time, cutting me off. They gesture to him and then to me. I stop in my tracks for the second time that day. What do you mean he's married to me? I'm breathing really hard now. I can actually feel my nostrils flaring from all my exertion. With all the adrenaline coursing through my body, I think I can lift a car without breaking a sweat. Someone speak, I command. The innocent-looking one points a shaking finger at me. No, not at me, but lower. I follow the direction of his finger toward my left hand. There, on my fourth finger, is a simple gold band. I've never seen it before. Why is it on my finger? What? I look toward the guy and he lifts his own left hand. There, also on his fourth finger, is a ring similar to mine. We're married? How is that possible? Then, a whiff of scent triggers my memories, and everything that happened last night comes back to me in a torrent. We left the front of the club and ended up at a comedy show. We laughed and we drank. Then we moved on to a magic show. We were amazed. Have you ever seen someone saw his hand off? We drank some more. Afterward, we ended up at a casino and played a hand or two of blackjack. Did you know drinks are free when you gamble? Well, rest assured, we took full advantage of that perk. We actually won a couple $1,000s. I joked that we could save that money for our honeymoon. Then he had joked we had to get married before we could have a honeymoon. It sounded like a great idea at the time. We went to a chapel with a pretty convincing Elvis impersonator. We said our vows and were married. They should really outlaw marriage when intoxicated in Vegas. If it can happen to Britney Spears, it can happen to the best of us. My gaze returns to the ring on my finger. I'm married? I ask myself. No, the guy says. We're married.
Chapter 5. Gunner. I turn around and leave the door open for my friends to come in. Besides my throbbing cheek, the rest of my body is numb. I go into the bathroom and shrug on a robe. Crap. What have I done? No matter how many times I curse myself, I can't deny the evidence. Specifically, the ring on my finger and the matching one on that unbelievably passionate woman in the living room. How is this even possible? That's the first question out of my lips when I rejoin my friends. The door has since been closed, and they're now seated on the couch. The woman, I guess my wife now, has found a chair in the dining room and brought it to the living room. "Don't you remember the call you made last night?" William asks. "What call?" I take a seat and rub my forehead. "Last night you called us," Parker explains. "We actually thought it was a joke. You said you met this wonderful, amazing woman, and you're going to marry her," Carlson continues. "I did what now?" Their words seem foreign to me, like they're speaking a different language. "At first, we thought you were at the party playing a prank on us," Parker says. "We didn't even know you'd left," William adds. "Then you said that you found the love of your life, and you don't ever intend to let her go." Carlson shrugs. "You repeated you were going to marry her, locking her down before she changes her mind and gets away." I blink at them. That doesn't sound like me. I'm not the lovey-dovey type. I avoid romance at all costs. I don't even date the same woman twice. I'm a love them and leave them kind of guy. They all share a look, then Parker says, "That's what we thought." Then we heard someone who distinctly sounded like Elvis ask if you wanted to marry this woman. "The Elvis Chapel did happen," the woman says. She's covering her face with both hands. At first I think she's going to cry, but then I realize she's more exasperated than anything. I can work with that. I'm actually afraid to ask, "Is that all?" All three of them shake their heads. Like I'd been slapped earlier, I really want to smack each of them, but what for? The person who really needs a good smack is me. How can I be so stupid? "Really early this morning," Carlson says. "You left a voicemail on my phone saying we should go to your office and check out the picture of you and your new wife." "And was there?" I rub my mouth. They all nod. "We still thought you were kidding," William says, ever the pragmatic one. "That this was some elaborate setup on your part. Make a fool out of your three best friends." "Well, I guess the joke's on me." I let out a laugh that's a mix of sadness and disbelief. "We came because we needed to confirm things." Parker clasps his hands together. "And by the looks of it, you really did get married, though you didn't know you were doing it." I touch my thumb against the ring. It feels so weird and so solid on my finger. Then I look at the woman sitting by the dining table. "I mean, you're hot and all, but no offense, I'm not the marrying type." I realize my mistake when Carlson slaps his forehead, and both William and Parker pale. The woman looks aghast at me, like I'd been the one to slap her instead of the other way around. I guess, now that my words are registering properly in my head, that I could have phrased things better. But really? I'm merely speaking the truth. Last night was fun, but she's not marrying material to me. "No offense?" she asks, finally regaining the ability to speak. "No offense? Well, don't act all high and mighty." "What's that supposed to mean?" I get up, hands on my hips. She doesn't back down and squares off with me. "You might be great in bed, and thank you for the good romp, but I'm not about to marry a man who's only good for a night in the sack. I don't see value in someone who only knows how to use his shaft and move his hips." I don't know who does it because I'm too busy staring at the woman from across the room, but someone lets out a low whistle. How can she compliment and insult me at the same time? It's such a blow to the ego that I see red. "Oh, really? Well, I seem to recall you enjoying my shaft last night." "Enjoyment is nothing compared to being stuck with someone for the rest of your life," she spits back. "You were nothing but a one-night stand." "How dare you?" I point at myself. "You don't know me. I'm certainly more than just a good lay." You tell her, Sharpshooter, Parker says. Her eyes widen. Is that your name? I can feel the heat rise up my neck. It's a nickname they gave me in college, but that's beside the point. It actually makes everything so clear. She slaps her thigh. All the more I shouldn't be attached to a man whose nickname is Sharpshooter. What kind of a lame name is that? It's because he can have any woman he wants, William says in my defense. Dude, I look at him over my shoulder. You're not really helping the cause here. At least William has the decency to look guilty. He shrinks into himself. I hate it when Mom and Dad fight, Carlson says, more to himself. Seeing as my friends aren't any help at all, I return all my attention to my current problem. You know, let's not fight about this. There's an easy solution. And what's that? She crosses her arms, which only emphasizes the shape of her generous chest. I mentally shake my head to distract myself from how hot she looks in that sheet. If circumstances were different, I'd want nothing more than to pull it away, so I can have my way with her again before I say, we'll get a divorce. Simple as that. She nods. Good. Glad we agree. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyler Walker Romances in the Big AF Audio Bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyler can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit tylerwalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner, because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylerWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyler.
Chapter 6. Lovely. I may have said what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but a divorce is a matter of public record. My job counsels families to stay together as much as possible, to work out their differences. Divorce is always a last rest. Now, here I am at 25, about to go through the last thing I advise against on a daily basis. What a hypocrite I've become. Worst, I got married because I was drunk and should have known better. I let my poor judgment change the trajectory of my life forever. How would it look when they find out? Especially since the man I'm divorcing has a nickname like Sharpshooter. I've become my own worst nightmare. I'd slap my forehead one more time if I think it would help. It would only give me a concussion. I'm so disappointed in myself. This is totally not me. I wait until his friends busy themselves watching TV and have ordered lunch before I talk to him about this. We're both adults. We got into this mess together. We can certainly get out of it together. I call on all my training as a counselor. Now that I've unleashed my initial bout of temper, my mind is clearer and my chest isn't as tight. Since there's a solution, I can act accordingly. I can deal with the fallout later. Since we got married in Vegas, it will be faster if we sign the divorce papers here. I say as he closes the door. I'm pretty sure they've handled similar cases like ours. He runs his fingers through his tousled hair. That's the second thing we've agreed on today. Hopefully, it will be one of many moving forward. Do you mind if I take a shower here? It will be faster than if I go back to my hotel room, I say. This penthouse actually has 2 bathrooms. He hikes his thumb over his shoulder. The other one's that way. If you really want to finish this fast, I suggest we take a shower together. Together? I raise an eyebrow. I mean, at the same time in separate bathrooms. Then he gets a wicked look in his eyes. We can also take a bath together in one shower if you want. I'm told I'm good at soaping a body down. I unfold myself from the chair I'd plopped on during the shock of the century. I think it's best if we use separate showers. What I don't tell him is that I'm half tempted to share a shower with him. There are merits to shower sessions, but I push those thoughts away. A divorce is what I'm after. What I'm not relishing is the idea of getting into my hussy dress again. It will look different under the light of day, especially since we have to go to court to draw up the papers. He's about to walk into one of the bathrooms when he pauses at the door and says, "It's Gunner, by the way." Excuse me? My name. It's Gunner Clinton. I figure since we're about to get divorced, we should at least know each other's names. I have a vague memory of it from the wedding ceremony. It's actually not a bad name. I give him a half smile. "I'm lovely Reagan," I say. I wish we were meeting under different circumstances, but here we are. His eyebrows rise. "Your name really is lovely? I thought I was just imagining things from the wedding." So saying, he disappears into the bathroom. I'm about to make my way to the other one when I hear my ringtone. My eyes scour the living room. I know I brought my clutch with me when I left the club last night. It's probably Megan wondering what I've gotten myself into. Well, that's going to take some serious explanation on my part. She's the one who's supposed to be getting married, yet I'm the one who ended up shackled. When I reach the bedroom, I hear the ringing get louder. My phone's not on the nightstand, but a box of condoms sure is. I roll my eyes, then I get on all fours on the floor. The light of my phone screen helps me find it beneath the bed. I reach for it and wonder how the hell it got under there. Then again, from the looks of the bedroom, things got pretty wild last night. I look at the screen and my eyes grow wide. Instead of Megan's name, I actually see Grandmama in big letters. It's been a while since we've spoken. I wonder what it could be. I pick up and say, "Grandmama, how are you doing?" "Hello, my lovely girl." Her sweet voice always manages to wrap me up in warmth and love. "Your grandpop and I are doing well. How are you?" "Oh, about to get a divorce because I got married drunk. But, of course, I don't want to run my beloved grandmother into an early grave. So instead, I say, I'm fine now that I can hear your voice." It's actually been a while since I've spoken to anyone in my family, especially my parents. That's a long story. Look at you with your sweet words. She chuckles. "I actually called to make sure you're bringing that husband of yours to the family reunion this weekend. I'd really like to meet him since it's our wedding anniversary." For what seems like the 100th time, I slap my forehead. I vaguely recall telling them 6 months ago, I'm about to get married to the love of my life. Remember that long story I mentioned? Well, here it is. I fell in love with a guy my parents didn't approve of. He's actually what caused the rift between us, because my parents wanted me to marry someone else. They wanted to run my life for me, but I made a choice. But boy, did that choice bite me in the backside. One day, I find my guy cheating on me. My pride wouldn't let me admit to my parents they were right, that he was a first-class jerk. "Lovely, are you still there?" my grandmama asks. I blink away the tears of shame and take a deep breath. There's no way I can refuse my grandparents. The only thing they want is for me to be happy. "I'm still here," I say, right about the same time Gunner walks out of the shower with a towel around his hips. I smile, finding the solution to my current predicament. "I'll be there with my husband, Grandmama. You and Grandpop can count on it."
Chapter 7. Gunner. She's on the phone. She's on the phone and smiling at me. Why is she smiling at me? I pause in the process of drying my hair. I lock gazes with her, trying to figure out what her angle is. Her smile looks like she's gone and done something. Not a minute ago, she's slapping me and accusing me of being a married man. I mean, she had the right to if I really was married. But I'm not, and even if I were, I'd make damn sure my wife would keep me occupied in bed too much for me to look around elsewhere. Now that we've decided on divorce, she's more civil. Cooler heads have prevailed. Although, my ego's still hurting from those verbal blows she sent my way. I'm not only a passion guy, I have substance too. Is this how women feel when they're discriminated against by men? Well, I certainly don't like it. I think I need to deal with women better. They put up with a lot of crap. I feel goosebumps rise along my arms and legs at the way she's regarding me, like she's hungry and I'm the main course. I glance at my friends. They're sufficiently engrossed with the basketball game. They'll be occupied enough not to pay us any attention whatsoever. Then I stride into the bedroom and ask, "Why are you smiling at me like that? What's changed between outside and now?" "That was actually my grandmother on the phone," she says, waving her cell at me. "What does that have to do with me?" "Well, you see, every year my family hosts a family gathering," she explains. "This year is extra special because it's my grandparents' wedding anniversary. Again, I don't see what any of this has to do with me." Without getting too much on the ugly details, I told my grandmother 6 months ago I'm marrying the love of my life. Well, she called today, asking me to bring my husband along since she and my grandpop want to meet him. Oh no! I'm starting to see where she's going with this. "Oh, come on," she says. "We're already married. I don't see the harm in delaying the divorce for this." "Absolutely not." I shake my head for emphasis. She slaps her hands together as if in prayer, sandwiching her cell phone between her palms. "Please, I beg you. I really need to get out of this scrape, and you're the only one who can help me." I regard her with a hard stare. How did we go from getting divorced to staying married? Things are moving way too fast and are too confusing for my taste. Then again, she strikes me as a woman who wouldn't ask if it wasn't really important. I raise an eyebrow at her, considering the possibilities. "What's in it for me if I say yes, and continue pretending to be your husband?" "You won't actually be pretending since we're legally married." "Stop being facetious." I smirk. "You know what I mean." She regards me carefully and licks her lips suggestively. "You can have whatever you want in exchange for going with me to this family reunion and tolerating me as your wife." The image of her tongue licking my shaft like a popsicle on a hot day returns to my mind. There are so many things I have yet to do to her in bed. She's way too tempting for her own good. To have full access to her. Is that enough of a price to pretend to be her husband? If you look at it, maybe it's not enough. But if you really knew me, then you'd know part of who I am is run by my baser instincts. I say yes to anything that will get me off in the end, and Lovely has certainly been an exceptional lover. If I'm being truly honest with myself, I'm not done with her yet. And I know she has more to give. The desire in her eyes actually says so. As if reading my mind, she lets part of the blanket covering her slip down. This gives me a view of her chest. I maneuver myself so if any of my friends look this way, they don't get to see what I'm seeing. Damn, she's fine! She's making it really hard for me to refuse, especially since she brings her hand to her exposed skin and starts kneading it ever so slowly. My gaze is riveted to her 2 fingers squeezing and twisting the already puckered bud. "What do you say, Sharpshooter?" she asks, pure lust in her voice. "Will you help me?" My mouth waters when she pouts, putting those plump lips on perfect display. My shaft starts to wake. I want her, more than I could ever fathom why. My mind races. What else do I have to do with my life at the moment? It's not as if her family reunion will change anything. If I do this, do you promise we'll still get a divorce directly afterward? I ask, my voice turning husky with need. She nods. Cross my heart and hope to die. She actually brings her finger over her chest and draws across there. Of course, all I'm seeing is that expanse of chocolate skin and that beautifully round mound. Damn, she's dangerous when she works her womanly wiles. And you promise to keep me entertained in the meantime? Oh, I'm counting on it. She uncrosses her legs, giving me a glimpse of her. What's the harm in saying yes? It's not like I have anything better to do. It might actually be fun. I haven't done something like this ever. All right, I say. I'll pretend to be your husband and go to this family reunion of yours. What? Come a chorus of male voices. I turn around to see my 3 knucklehead friends listening in on our conversation from the couch. Their heads are actually stacked one on top of the other, and their flabbergasted looks make me laugh. Now, if you 3 don't want to watch while I take this woman senseless, I suggest you close the door, I say. That gets them to scatter. Carlson slams the door closed. Lovely giggles as she pushes up onto the bed, hooking her finger into my towel and letting it fall to the floor.
Chapter 8. Lovely. I'm packing for the trip home in my hotel room when there's a knock on my door. I pause and open it to see Megan standing there with a frown on her face. She pushes past me into the room saying, "Where the hell have you been?" I know I have some explaining to do. You won't believe what happened to me last night. Megan gives me a huge hug. I'm happy you're fine, but we were so worried when you disappeared and all our calls went to voicemail. Don't ever do that again. She plops into a chair and I proceed to tell her everything, and I mean everything. Her face actually goes through so many emotions. I've lost track of which ones flashed across her face. Then she says, "So you're married." I show her the ring. I still can't believe it. "But you're getting a divorce?" I nod. As soon as he finishes helping me with this family thing. "Oh my God, Lovely. You should never touch a drink ever again," she says, complete shock still in her expression. "Are you sure you can trust this guy?" A grin widens on my face. That's what I'm about to find out. We're actually flying home together. He's from New York too. Then my hotel room phone rings. I pick it up. The front desk says my car is here. "Okay, that's him waiting downstairs," I say, then tell the front desk, "Can you please tell them I'll be down in 10 minutes? Well, I guess that's my cue. Megan stands and gives me another hug. "You better keep me posted about this." "I promise." She leaves me alone and I hurry to finish packing. I make it to the car waiting out front in less than the 10 minutes I promised. The hotel room is paid for by Megan, so I don't need to check out. "Hey," Gunnar says as I hop into the back of a black SUV. "I hope you don't mind, but I had you upgraded to first class. I can't have my wife sitting in economy." First class? A thrill of excitement runs down my spine. I've never flown first class before. And what a ride it is. We get priority at the airport. Security check is a breeze. We even wait in our own designated lounge with free food and drinks. We're also first to board the plane. My eyes are wide the entire time. We each get these pods that close, and the seats recline into a bed. It's amazing. "Hello, neighbor," Gunnar says from the pod beside mine. "Oh gosh, this is all too good to be true," I say as I accept a glass of complimentary champagne from the flight attendant. "You didn't have to do this, Gunnar." "But I do. If you want to play my wife, then you'll have to act and look the part. I would have used the jet, but I promised it to the guys for their flight back." Confession, I'm actually glad we're not flying home with the Three Stooges, I say. They can be a bit much. Funny guys, but a bit much. Gunnar sighs. I know it's like traveling with a moving fraternity, but that's what they are to me, like brothers. You all met in college? Yes, and we've been friends ever since. We've seen each other through so much. Guilt spreads through me. Did you want to fly back with them? I'm sorry if I'm keeping you from your friends. You're not. He shakes his head. Actually, this is a great time for you and me to get to know each other. You want us to be believable for your family, right? I think that should go beyond just knowing each other's names. I chuckle. You're right. So tell me more about yourself. Besides having awesome friends who have your back, what do you do for a living? I actually own a winery, he says. My brand is called Toxic. Shut up. My jaw drops and my eyes go wide for what seems like the millionth time. I love your wine. They are my favorite go-to when I'm about to settle in for the night with a good romance novel. I'm flattered. The tips of his ears actually grow red. Which is your favorite? There's a lot to choose from. I catalog all the toxic wine variants I've already tasted. You make a great Cabernet. Your rose is perfect for a summer day. I actually blend that with ice and call it froze. He grins. I like that. I might have to steal that for our brand meeting. Go right ahead. I grin back at him. But my favorite will have to be your red wine. Your Merlot is the best tasting red out there. It's earthy and fruity without tasting brackish on the tongue. I'll make sure to send you a case of our new vintage. You don't have to. I blush. But I won't say no if you do. Done? Then he settles back into his seat. Now it's your turn. Tell me about yourself. Why guidance counseling? I know what you're thinking. Do I work at a school? He nods. It's crossed my mind since that's where you usually find a guidance counselor. Typically, yes. But I work with families in distress. I have my own clinic downtown. His eyebrows go up. Swanky. My confidence level goes through the roof. If I do say so myself, I handle a lot of family counseling, like parents fighting and how that affects their children, helping children deal with trauma, those kind of things. Why this career path? I mean, you could have been a doctor. I think you're thinking about psychiatry, I gently correct him. What I do is more on the psychology side. But you're right, I could have been a doctor. At least that would have made my parents happy. I'm sensing some tension there. I puff out a breath. You see, I haven't spoken to my parents in a while. Attending this family reunion will actually be the first time we see each other since the rift. And what caused that rift? For the entire flight back to New York, not once did I feel bored. Gunnar and I talked and talked, sharing each other's stories. He's actually a funny guy when you get to know him.
Chapter 9. Gunnar. An hour before the plane lands, I know I like Lovely more now than when we first met. There's a fire in her I can't imagine ever going out. She's animated when she tells stories, especially if they involve her grandparents, who she loves deeply. I can understand why she doesn't want to disappoint them by showing up without a husband in tow. I can just kill the guy who cheated on her. If I were in her shoes, I would have done the same thing and kept quiet about it. Her parents sound like a piece of work, too. My pride wouldn't have been able to take their criticism if ever I got it into my mind to tell them everything. For this to work, I think you need to stay at my place, I say, putting it all out there. What I don't tell her is I'm not ready to stay away from her. I want more of this conversation. I want more of her smiles and her laughter. Her eyebrows come together in thought. But I wouldn't want to be an imposition. I have my own place. I get that, but hear me out. I turn toward her so we're face to face. Married couples live together. That's why they know each other so well. Okay, these things I'm pulling out of my backside. I hope she doesn't see through my bullcrap. She tilts her head, still in thought. I suppose you're right, she finally says, after what seems like the longest time. That's what I tell the mothers and fathers who've been living apart and thinking of divorce. If they want to rediscover each other, they need to be together. I hold in my elation. Does that mean you'll come live with me? I have a guest room you'll love. My place is too big for one person anyway. I could use the company. I have to go home and pack first, she says, her eyes excited but cautious. We'll do that on the way. All right, let's live together. She gives me her address when we get into my car after leaving the airport. She actually lives just below the Upper East Side, in a charming brownstone with potted plants on her windows. Do you want to come up? She asks. How can I say no? I'm curious to see how she lives. She opens the door to her apartment and lets me in. Just give me a couple of minutes while I put a bag together. I assume we'll be traveling to my grandparents' place at the end of the week. This question she asks after she disappears into her room. I don't follow her there because I'm too enamored by her living room. I take in the clean and organized space with its eclectic and colorful furniture. The reunion is this weekend, right? I ask for confirmation while I look at pictures of her with her friends and family lined up on the mantel. All the smiling faces. Each photo is full of warmth and love. Yes, she says almost breathlessly. You don't need to hurry, I say. Take your time. I think we should decide on our story. There's hesitation in her voice. I consider us friends now, so I try to put her at ease by saying, what about we met in Central Park? I was jogging and you were walking on my way home while eating a pretzel, the kind that's dripping with mustard, she says, filling in the blanks. You were enjoying your pretzel so much you weren't paying attention. We bump into each other. I stain your shirt. And I catch you before you fall backward. I grin, liking this story. Then we look into each other's eyes. To thank you for saving me from what could have been a disastrous fall into the fountain, I offer to buy you coffee. Precisely. I clap my hand as my eyes glance over the books she has on her shelves. She loves reading a lot of romance. We went out on several dates after that. And we fell in love out of our shared love for wine. I can envision it now, our entire dating life that never existed, but actually seems so real in my mind. Then after 4 months... Let's make it 6 so it doesn't seem so fast, she cuts me off. I laugh. Okay, 6 months it is. I fly you out to the vineyard and propose to you after a weekend filled with wild lovemaking. Let's cut the lovemaking part since my parents will be there, and to them, I'm still a teenage virgin. That ship has sailed, honey. This time she's the one who laughs. Then we got married soon after. Since I'm still estranged, they'll understand why I never told them. It was a small ceremony with friends. I like it. She comes out with a couple of bags in her hands. I take one from her. I love your place, I say. It feels so cozy and lived in. Thank you. A blush colors her cheeks. Do you have everything? I ask, looking around in case she forgot anything. I still have all my travel stuff in your car. I just added some makeup and stuff like more underwear and clothes. Because we need those, I joke, but really in the back of my mind I'm hoping she doesn't need any of them. I want her naked all the time. She drops her gaze, suddenly shy for a moment. What is it? I ask, bending so I can look into her eyes. You haven't told me yet what you want in return for helping me. I love how adorable she looks right now. Let's pin that for now. I still have to think about it. Okay. She breathes out a sigh. I have everything. Let's go then. She locks her apartment and we make our way back to my car. What she doesn't know is I already know what I want from her. I want an entire month where all we do is ravage each other from morning till night. Of course, there's no way I can ask her that without looking like a monumental perv.
I thought I was getting a fake marriage, but I didn't know my story was being told by Miss Tyler.
This isn't just any fake marriage, now is it?
No, you introduced me to the devil.
Come on, girl, Jacob isn't that bad.
Oh, I love Jacob. His family, on the other hand...
Beggars can't be choosers, Nyla. You should be grateful I even let Jacob Stone look your way.
I just wanted to save my granddaddy. Is that so bad? Why couldn't you let this be a normal fake marriage? Instead, you put me in a twisty story filled with money, betrayal, power, and lies.
Let's not forget love.
That's what keeps me going. But not gonna lie, Miss Tyler. This story you got me in ain't the simple fake marriage, happy ending I thought it would be.
It's not. Because where would be the fun in that?
Treat yourself to Say Less I Love You. Tuesdays and Thursdays. New seasons premiere every month. Or skip the wait and grab the full series bundle from TylerWalker.com. Treat yourself with Miss Tyler. Chapter 10. Lovely. Gunnar underestimated where he lives. He actually owns a multi-level apartment in one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Manhattan. He has an unhindered view of Central Park. And the guest room he talked about? It might as well be a suite at a hotel. It has a plush bed and even a TV which rises from the foot at the push of a button. There's a suite bathroom with a shower and a bathtub. I didn't even need to bring any products because he has the best of the best available. I can only imagine the guests he invites to stay at his place. I put all my clothes away and we order dinner. Then I settle in for the night, tired from the trip. I assume we both are. As I lie in bed, I feel every nerve in my body is still awake. I'm actually living with him. I haven't lived with a man since. I refuse to think about that guy, unable to sleep even though I'm tired. I turn on the TV and let it be my white noise for the night until my eyes finally droop. It's weird how a chance encounter has flipped my life around so entirely. At least the sheets are nice and the bed is awesome. The next morning, I wake up to the smell of heaven. I deeply inhale the smell of bacon frying, mixed with the scent of roasting coffee. I stretch and make my way out of bed, making a pit stop at the bathroom to wash my face and relieve myself. Only when I'm wearing a robe over my t-shirt and pajama bottoms do I make my way to the humongous kitchen. You can actually fit my entire apartment in it. Who knew there was this much money to be made in wine? But then again, I drink a bottle of it every other night, so I can only imagine how much Gunnar is making a year. You can cook? The question tumbles out of my mouth when I see Gunnar by the stove. There are several pans with various items already cooking. He turns around and flashes a dashing smile at me. Lord have mercy, that smile should be considered a sin. It's certainly making me have sinful thoughts. Doing it with him in Las Vegas was a given. I don't know how I can initiate that now when our dynamic has changed. Good morning, he greets loudly. Let me guess, you're a morning person, I grumble as I take a seat on one of the counter stools across him. I've already gotten my morning run in and made some business calls, he boasts. I don't know what you like, so I thought I should make a little bit of everything. He points at each one of his creations. A stack of pancakes, a mound of bacon, French toast, omelets. Do you want my sausage? He asks, a gleam in his eyes. Before that, I'd like some of your coffee. Your wish is my command. With a flourish, he pours me a cup. Then he brings me some milk, creamer, and sweeteners of different sorts. He places them all in front of me. This way I can get to know what you like for breakfast, he says. I place some creamer in my coffee and heap a teaspoon of sugar before I stir it. I don't really enjoy black coffee, but I like some bite in the sweetness to make sure there's flavor. I see. You like balance. I certainly have some good balance. I lean closer until my lips are just an inch away from his. I think your sausage is burning. Oh, it is. He sniffs and runs back to the stove. I hide my laugh into my sip of coffee as he frantically rescues the sausage and whatever food is still left cooking. How can someone be so funny, yet so hot at the same time? It's amazing how much I'm learning about him the longer we stay together. Once breakfast is all laid out before us on the counter, he takes a seat beside me and hands me a plate. I want to see how well you handle your meat. I handle my meat just fine. I take a fork and skewer a piece of sausage before bringing it to my mouth. I lick the tip with my tongue. His eyes are mesmerized by what I'm doing to the sausage. He swallows when I wrap my lips around its girth and take a big bite. I've barely swallowed when he cups the back of my neck and pulls me to him. My lips are on his in an instant. I don't know what he's hungrier for, myself or the breakfast he prepared. I part my lips and invite his tongue in. He tastes me, and I moan my pleasure, leaning into him. "You taste like coffee and sausage," he declares against my lips. "You taste delicious." I take his bottom lip between my teeth and run the tip of my tongue over it. He shudders in pleasure. I've been wanting to kiss him again since we left Vegas. While his hand is on my neck, his other travels up my waist. His thumb grazes the side of my chest. I feel his touch keenly. He growls as he discovers I'm not wearing anything under my shirt. His wicked thumb travels to circle my hard peak. My hands travel up his thighs where they find evidence of morning wood. I cup him through his pants. He pushes into my touch. All throughout, not once do we break the kiss. We're touching each other like a couple of bunnies in heat. Then the sound of a doorbell reverberates inside the apartment, startling us into breaking contact. Gunnar curses under his breath.
Chapter 11. Gunnar. I have never, I repeat, never cooked breakfast or any meal for anyone, especially a woman. No one. Especially a woman. Got that? Great. So why did I cook breakfast for Lovely? Did I do it on a whim? I don't really know. What I do know is she tastes better than anything I can cook. The taste of her sweet, seductive kisses makes me wonder if she was named Lovely for that reason. But of course I doubt it, since no parent will name his or her kid with the thought, "Hey, I bet you'll be a great kisser when you grow up. Better call you Lovely just to be sure." Lovely cuts that thought off until all I can focus on are her kisses, and damn, she can do that with her tongue? Now that's what I call talent. I lift her backside and make her sit on the kitchen counter. The bowls, plates, and other kitchen utensils are put to the side. Or should I say, shoved until some drop to the floor. Don't do this at home, kids. Leave the hot kitchen love to the pros. Or at least when you're sure you won't end up cut with a knife. Oh boy, she's hungry for that meat already. I feel her hand cup the boner, making my pants tight. Crap. Lovely just grabbed my shaft against my pants, my aching shaft singing praises as she strokes me so well. Crap. Lovely, is all I can really say at the moment as she bites my lower lip and hoists those beautiful legs around my waist. Don't tell me this will make you come. She croons teasingly, licking my cheek nice and slow. God damn it, this woman. She tightens her grip and I'm certain pre-cum just stained my pants. A pleasurable shiver creeps down my spine all the way to my tailbone. I end up pushing her down, her back now laying down against the surface of the counter. My hips controlled by some rutting beast and end up dry humping the life out of her, rubbing harder and harder as she starts moaning uncontrollably. Her moans trigger me to do more. Oh, yes, Gunnar! Hump me harder, faster! Faster! Yeah, baby, that's so hot. Give it to me. Put it in. She's begging. Oh, yes. I'm making her beg for it. I feel like a kid on Christmas morning. The friction caused by my dry humping is making her core wetter. Her panties are now soaked. The reason my shaft is twitching so much. Put it in me, Gunnar. Put it in. Can't say no to that. I was going to tease her until she comes, but even I can't wait for that anymore. So I impatiently pull my shaft out, releasing the hard thing from the tightness of my pants. I'm putting it in. I whisper to her ear, licking and nibbling at the lobe. The tip of my throbbing shaft is at her gates, that very wet core of hers twitching for me. I'm about to plunge it in when suddenly... Knock! 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 We try to ignore the knocking, but then... Knock! Knock! Ding dong! Ding dong! Idiot! I curse, knowing whoever that is won't leave until the door is opened. She sighs. Just go deal with it. I kiss her lips and pull away from her reluctantly. Damn, this whole knocking just ruined the mood and my shaft is hanging sadly between my legs. Who the hell? I say in an angry voice, yanking the bloody door open. A woman wearing a trench coat stands in front of me. It takes a while before I recognize her as one of my flings. Chelsea? Jamie, she says. Well, I tried. Oh, right. Not that I care. The disinterest is all over my face. Not gonna let me in? Her eyes look down to my shaft displayed for all to see. Big boy? Yeah. No. I attempt to close the door. She brings her foot forward to stop me from closing it. No? Not even with... And she takes her coat off. She's wearing nothing underneath. Not like I haven't seen such a stunt before. I've had girls do this to me more times than I can count, so it gets old fast. A gasp takes my attention away from Jamie's average display of the usual big boobs and slim figure. Oh my... It's Lovely, and I smile at her apologetically. Sorry about this. Lovely raises her brows at me in disbelief and amusement, before looking at my crotch and seeing no reaction there. She looks like she's about to laugh about my sad predicament, but sighs instead. I can tell from the way she looks at me that she'll deal with the woman. Jamie raises her one brow, looking at Lovely as she takes her place beside me. And you are? Ignoring the question for now, Lovely grabs me by the arm and pulls me behind her. I'm his wife. What about you? Lovely is still looking as much of a hot mess as when I left her in the kitchen. Her clothes are obviously disheveled in ways that could only mean one thing to anyone with a brain. Gunnar never told me he was married to a hussy. We've been messing around, if you must know. Jamie is not letting this go, is she? Oh, well, we just got married recently. And don't worry, I'm not mad. He told me he does have some old rags still clinging to him. Lovely just smiles at Jamie, unfazed by her sharp words. Old rags! Was it old rags, or was it used, forgotten, boring playthings? Oh, well, they all sound alike to me. Lovely walks toward her, her bigger jugs a stark contrast to Jamie's unimpressive mosquito bites as she looks down on her. She even tucks a lock of hair behind the poor girl's ear just to add salt to the wound. Maybe you should put your coat on and wear something warmer. Don't want you to catch a cold. I watch Lovely take a step back to me, her arms going around my neck as her thigh merely grazes my shaft, and it's already standing. Get going now. I still have to make my husband come. Ugh! Jamie shrieks, grabbing her coat and leaving with tears in her eyes. My Lovely. I actually enjoyed watching you duke it out with that woman. It's my turn to grab her rump and squeeze it hard. You really are priceless and one of a kind. She moans under my touch. Oh, yeah? Yeah. I tug her lower lip. It turns me on.
Chapter 12. Lovely. Look at you, Mr. Hotshot. I tease Gunnar with a smirk. Getting turned on by two women fighting over you? I tease him, but I have to admit the way he tugs my lower lip like that really makes me horny. I didn't ask you to do that, though, he smirks back. And yet, you had to mark ownership, eh? How hot is that? Whatever. I cup his shaft again and he shivers under my touch. I just wanted her gone so we can resume breakfast. I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyler would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyler. I'm surprised you actually came with me, I tell my temporary husband while I browse some clothes on display. Yeah, why not? It's not like I have anything better to do. The guy says it as if I'd begged him to come, but he'd actually suggested he come earlier. We're inside a classic boutique in Brooklyn. I like this place because they have the cutest clothes for women of my skin color. That and my friend owns the place. Speaking of, there she is now, coming back with a few accessories I asked for. Is this what you're looking for? Bev, aka Bevy Yahantov, is a 6-foot-tall Russian beauty with straight black hair and red tips. She's as pale as a vampire, and her makeup is usually quite heavy. Despite this, she still looks chic and artistic instead of an emo clown, which not everyone can pull off. She shows me some cute bangles and bohemian necklaces, and I go to her, examining them. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Then you should wear this instead. Gunnar comes to us with a 2-piece off-white dress that has a simple design on the edges. This should go well with those. I don't want to admit it, but he's right. So instead, Bev speaks for me. You have a good eye, boy, she compliments Gunnar, grinning. I'm a 32-year-old man. Please don't call me a boy. I stifle a chuckle as I take the clothes from Gunnar and enter one of the dressing rooms. It takes me only a few seconds before I step out looking like a bombshell. The 2-piece Gunnar picked out looks extremely good on my curvaceous body, and I can tell why he picked this for me. Not that I mind. I like making him look at me. Gunnar whistles. Damn, you look amazing. Thank you. I flip my hair, then wink at him. I put a hand on my hip, and I catwalk to him, showing my legs off for his eyes to feast on. Is this code for let's do it in the dressing room or no? Gunnar places his hands on my hips, pulling me close to him. Because I want to do you now. So honest? I tease. Not in my boutique. I'm not cleaning up after the two of you. Bev breaks the tension between us. I thought she was your friend, whines Gunnar. She is, I tell him. I am, Bev retorts. And that's why I'm saying no. Now, forgive me for changing this uncomfortable topic, but why won't you go find clothes for your new husband? Oh, good idea. Let's see if you can dress me well. Gunnar has this stupid grin on his face, and I roll my eyes. It takes me only a few seconds to pick out clothes for Gunnar, as I already know what will look good on him too. I shove him inside the dressing room, and soon after that, he emerges looking so extremely hot. Even Bev is gaping. Wow! He's wearing a black 2-button single-breasted blazer over a blue striped dress shirt, folded all the way to his elbows, showing people his, guns. His biceps are bulging, and it's making me and Bev drool. He's wearing a pair of gray odd trousers to match. Gunnar spins and does this ridiculous hip move before maneuvering toward me. Well, well, well. Looks like you do know how to dress me up. Bev claps and then pushes the two of us apart. One last thing. My awesome friend gives the two of us matching bracelets with some Mayan thing going on. She smiles at the two of us. This is for the gods to watch over newlyweds. Bevy, I really hate that I'm lying to her. Now, let's get you both to pay for those. Gunnar and I look at each other, and we share a nice laugh before going back to don the clothes we came here with. We then pay for the clothes and accessories we'll be wearing for the anniversary. It's weird, but I'm enjoying this day with Gunnar. For whatever reason, he is a really fun guy.
Chapter 13. Gunnar. Didn't think I would enjoy shopping, but I guess even someone like me can certainly enjoy things for the first time. I'm staring at the bracelet Bev made us buy, while the two girls chatted up a bit at the counter. I can see them looking back at me before giggling over something. Not that I mind, one of my mottos in life has always been, don't sweat over petty things. Tell me if you need to hide a body, Bev says out loud, making sure I can hear her. I know a place behind my uncle's lot that will hide his corpse if he ever does something to hurt you. Don't worry, Bev. It's your friend who might do something to hurt me, not the other way around, I reply to her playful threat, winking at her. Bye, Bev. Lovely goes to me and hands me the bags, which I take from her willingly. I think it's a silent code for men to always carry their women's stuff. It's not about girls not being able to carry these things by themselves, but about chivalry and helping them without them saying a word about it. We walk out of the boutique and head for my red sports car. It's almost dinner time by the time we leave Bev's store. I put our stuff in the trunk, then slip into the driver's seat. Want to go out for dinner, or... I turn to Lovely as she gets into the passenger seat. Let's just order pizza and some chicken and fries. Lovely is checking her phone when she says this. All right, I start the car. We can watch a movie while eating dinner. Sounds good. Sweet. I step on the gas and we're off. It takes only 5 minutes to get to my place from here. Once we arrive, Lovely orders the pizza while I get our stuff and hang them in the walk-in closet in our rooms. I love that they didn't end up in the end, Lovely points out while munching on her chicken. That's why I love La La Land. It breaks the mold from all those happily ever after stuff. She's just wearing one of my shirts while sitting on the other end of the couch. I watch her lick fingers clean and I'm a little turned on by that. Are you kidding me? Happily ever after should happen in movies. It's the escape people need because real life is crap. I take the remote and look for something better to watch. Oh, no, you don't. Give me that. She's suddenly crawling toward my end of the sofa, reaching for the remote. Hey, get off me, woman. It's my turn to find something to watch. I stretch my arm overhead, to a height she can't reach with her shorter limbs. But the show after La La Land looks good, too. Give it. She reaches further, her chest in my face now. I really don't mind my predicament. Nope, I say as her chest muffles my face. I want to watch some fun, mindless action. I guess she realizes I actually like our current position since she pulls away and puts her face in front of me instead of her tits. Her jet black eyes watch me sweat before she suddenly gives me a wet kiss. This catches me off guard and my arm falls a bit, giving her the opportunity to snatch the remote. Lovely pulls away from the kiss and smirks. Mine? She wins this round. Yeah. I look to the side in defeat. She pushes away from me and changes the channel back. Since she's done eating, she's lying down on the couch and our legs are in a tangled mess. We're watching Master and Mrs. Smith this time, and when the hot tango scene comes along, I suddenly find myself looking at Lovely. She's glued to the TV screen, so I end up watching once more. Then I feel her feet creep between my legs, and she starts rubbing her toes on my groin.
And that's where we're going to put a pause on pleasure.
It looks like the rest of this chapter is just too naughty to put on the air.
As much as we'd love to share every little detail, we've got to stick to this platform's guidelines to keep these free audiobooks coming.
They've got some rules about what we can show, and we wouldn't want to risk losing the chance to bring you more content.
As frustrating as it is to build the tension only to be interrupted, Miss Tyla always knows how to make it up to you.
You can find the full, uncut scene over at tylawalker.com.
With an entire library of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks, Miss Tyla's collection is waiting for you.
And if you use code SAVE40, you'll get 40% off any digital product, even on bundles that are already discounted.
So don't let the fun stop here. Head over to tylawalker.com and treat yourself with Miss Tyla. Chapter 14. Lovely. Knock, knock. Gunner's all too familiar voice makes me look toward the door of my office. I just finished my last client, so I beckon him to come in. He looks as dashing as ever, and it makes me wonder how he manages to charm me every single day. To what do I owe this pleasure, HM? I cross my legs and put my folder down. My eyes catch a glimpse of what seems to be a nice-looking paper bag behind him. What's that? Oh, nothing. he says as he approaches my table. "I just thought this would fit you quite nicely for the party." Slowly, he takes out a box, and I immediately know what it is. He got me shoes. And not just any shoes. I know for a fact these ones are expensive. "This is amazing." My eyes sparkle when he opens the box, and I see a cute pair of glittery white pumps with silver accents and a cute bow on the lace to finish the whole look. "Gunnar, this is gorgeous." "I'm glad you like it." "Like it? I love it." I take out the shoes and hug them against my chest. "But why?" "I was meeting with an old friend who started a shoe line. He showed me his latest designs and thought this one would fit the outfit we bought last week." "Last week? So it's been a week since the day we went shopping." "Thank you." I give him the most appreciative smile, and I can't help but feel like he did it to see me happy. A silly thought, of course. I mean, why would my happiness even matter to him, right? It's been a week indeed, and it's the big day. So far, my life with Gunnar's been really good. When he's not in the office, he accompanies me. When I'm not working, I surprise him in his office. That's why I'm not surprised to see him here. If anything, I would have been disappointed if I didn't. But the shoes, now those surprise me. Hell, the people around us can't tell we're a fake couple because of everything we do for each other. I hate to admit this even to myself, but I haven't felt this happy in a long while. "Shall we?" Gunnar offers me his hand. I smile and put the shoes back in the box before handing it to his offered hand instead. "And where are we going?" "Do you always have to ask? Can it be a surprise?" "You are just full of surprises." I stand up and hook my arms around his instead. Then we walk out. Outside, the guard bids us farewell. "Take care, Mr. and Mrs. Clinton." "Thanks, Chuck. You and your wife take care of yourselves, too." Gunnar waves. "Will do, Mr. Clinton, sir." The short exchange makes me wonder just how friendly he can be. Once we get in his car, I mention it to him casually. "And here I thought you only charm women. You actually befriend security guards," I tease him. "You're crazy," he replies as he drives. "I just want to make sure you're safe. That's why I got to know the guy. His job is to protect you guys." I just stare at him. He's doing it for me. The music is on and he's already focused on the road. On the other hand, my heart is beating fast, and I know who the reason is behind it. I look outside the window, trying not to show what he said actually affected me. Damn it, am I in love with him? He's humming to the song while making a turn as I watch from the reflection of the window next to me. Gods, I think I am. It's easy to fall in love with a guy like Gunnar. The fact he brought me those shoes, implying he's thinking of me, and then reveals he befriended the security guard just to make sure I'm safe. The guy is so sweet. Sometimes I wonder if everything is intentional or he just functions that way without knowing how he affects people. No wonder his friends call him Sharpshooter. I feel myself blush when I catch him looking at me. And then I smile. I think he should be called Valentino instead. I know we have to add some elements to our wardrobe, but does it still look good? I ask, turning to Gunnar after he zips the lower part of my dress. Since I had my nails done this morning, I needed help putting it on. You look stunning. Plus, we just added a shawl. Nothing much changed. Gunnar puts the velveteen shawl over my shoulders. Sorry you had to buy a tuxedo instead of the outfit we picked for you. I can't believe I forgot it's a formal party. No way my parents will approve of Gunnar wearing anything but a tuxedo. Hey, no worries. Gunnar cups my cheek and I instinctively lean against his hand. I had one for an event ready in my closet. Might as well use it. I fix his suit, straightening it a bit more. My parents are really strict. If they see you in those clothes, even if you look good in them, they'll attack you and degrade you for not meeting their standards. Must be tough, huh? You have no idea. Gunnar takes me by the hand and makes me sit on one of the chairs inside his walk-in closet. I raise my brow, wondering what he's up to, but then he slowly removes my shoes and then raises my foot to his lips and kiss it. "What are you doing?" I question, but I don't pull my foot away. Sorry. I just felt like it." "You are so weird," I say, even though what he did made my heart leap. Then I watch as he puts my new shoes on, the ones he gave me earlier, one sandal after the other. "Tell me more about them," he asks before lifting his gaze, showing he really wants to know. "I don't know why you want to, though." "Because I know it'll help you unload before we go." After he says that, he just sits there, waiting for me to talk. Why does this even affect me? His queer ways and how he shows his concern. If this playboy turns out to be just toying with me, I'll kick him in the nuts. Fine.
Chapter 15. Gunnar. This isn't like me at all. I know I do stuff to get women to fall for me, but kiss her foot and urge her to unload? Damn, what the hell am I doing? This is what plagues my mind, but I can't help it, especially when she looks and sounds like that. If my friends see me now, they'll laugh their tails off. My parents are strict. They'll go as far as to plan my life because they don't trust I'll do it well for myself. She scoffs, trying to act like it doesn't affect her, but I know it does. I can tell by how sad her eyes look, despite her trying to seem strong and unaffected. They don't trust me. They think I can't do anything right. Her voice breaks and she pauses, trying not to cry. Seeing her like this affects me. I've had girls cry when I end things with them, but I've never cared before. Not like this. One time, back when I was a teenager, she looks at her feet as if remembering something. My father used to lock me up when I rebelled against him. He used to tell me children should never disobey their parents. The hell? I thought those things only happen in dramas, not real life. The image of her getting locked up makes me furious, but I shut up and let her continue. Mom has a different approach to making me feel useless. She used to tell me how I'm not good enough, and that all I'm good for is finding the right husband. Her emotional abuse is sometimes a lot harsher than anything my father does to me. To think Lovely ended up being a great counselor. Maybe she wanted to make sure whatever she experienced will never happen to others. She shakes her head. Look at me, dropping that bomb at you. Sorry, I hope it didn't scare you. Scare? Me? I finally ask. No way. I make sure she can see I'm confident, that I'm not freaked out by her story. When I smile at her, she ends up smiling too. I love it when it happens. This is why I'm sad when she's stressed. I can't believe we've only been together for weeks. I know we're going to be together temporarily, but I really like her. Well, you should be, she jests. My parents will tear you limb from limb. I bet you won't last a minute when they start their spiel about how disappointing I am. Yeesh, sounds awful. She leans in and kisses me softly. Thanks for cheering me up. That's my job. Oh, is it? She pinches my cheek. Yes, I grin at her. Temporary or not, I'm still your husband. She just shakes her head, but I see her blush and smile, the cute smile she wears when she's happier than usual. Let's just go, Lovely says, standing up. Ladies first. We're in my car, driving to the venue of her grandparents' anniversary. Somehow I'm beginning to understand why she's super close to her grandparents, but not her own folks. Hey, Lovely. I'm still focusing on the road as I call out to her. Yeah? She's browsing her phone when she turns to me. I stop at a red light, then look at her seriously. She blinks and waits for what I have to say. I promise to do my best later. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure your parents will stop bugging you about how you run your life. Gunnar, she puts down her phone. I agreed to all this. Plus, I think you deserve to be free of them, you know what I mean? She chuckles. You can be really dumb sometimes. Hey. But thanks, she puts a hand on my shoulder. I really appreciate you saying that. I'm not just saying it. I know. Lovely leans in to kiss my cheek. I turn to her and almost drown in those amazing eyes, but the honking of the car behind us gets my attention back on the road. She ends up laughing at that, and then she browses her phone again. I want to ask what that look is all about, but I know the opportunity is gone. Damn that car. Damn the universe. But this feeling I have for her is a novel emotion, and I'm really surprised by my sudden feelings for her. I really like her. She's an authentic person. What you see is what you get. You rarely get that in my world. Oh boy, I mutter to myself as I take my first look at the party. Looks like they already started without us. Not that I mind. I turn to Lovely, checking how she is. It looks like she's as nervous as I am. You want to just ditch this place? Lovely says. My grandparents will understand, I'm sure. Let's just go. Lovely turns and starts walking back to my car. I fast walk toward her, holding her arm. Let go, Gunner. Nope. I twine my fingers around hers. We're going in there, and we'll face your family. Together. Do we have to? Yep. Then you'll introduce me to your grandparents. We'll have some cake, and it'll taste good. But my parents... I slowly close the distance between us. Your parents will know about me, and the two of us will show just how you found an amazing husband all by yourself. She pouts up at me. Can I really face them? Somehow it breaks my heart to see how they still have such a hold on her, even after all she's achieved in life. Actually, it angers me, and I'm starting to hate her parents. No, I reply. No, she wavers a bit. We can face them. You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy,
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
and you might got the money,
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
but that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. And everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you,
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 16. Lovely. When Gunnar said no, I was going to run away. But then he says the two of us will face them, and that I won't be alone. That comforts me. I'm really grateful that out of anyone I could have accidentally married, it's Gunnar Sharpshooter Clinton. I'm still nervous, though, but I go inside with him. We have Bev's matching bracelets, and I have the man I've fallen in love with holding my hand. You can do this, Lovely. You can do this. I encourage myself as some of my family members finally take notice of us. Lovely, one of my cousins greets cheerfully. Greta, nice to see you. I wave as she comes to join us. She's gawking at Gunnar, not that I blame her. This is my husband, Gunnar Clinton. You really are married, Greta squeals, getting the attention of the whole room. Ha, I really am. I'm not sure if I'm nervous the whole family is looking at us, but I end up squeezing Gunnar, seeking comfort. Nice to meet you, Greta, right? My husband says, smiling. Gunnar to the rescue. I cheer in my head as I watch my temporary hubby charm his way through this. Oh yes, wow, You're really handsome, Greta blurts out in a stunned voice. Thanks. Gunnar smiles sweetly, stealing her heart in the process. But I know lovely really is something. Oh, Greta blushes. Of course. Gunnar pulls me toward him, my hips against his. My wife is the best in every way. Damn it. My heart flips and now my other relatives tease and cheer. I can tell my parents are staring, but I decide to introduce them last. After Greta, I move to the side and start introducing Gunnar to the rest of my family. Gunnar handles it pretty well. You can even say he's the exemplary husband to bring home to families. I really appreciate him doing this. Finally, we get to my grandparents. Gunnar greets them both respectfully, and then he hands out our gift for their anniversary. This is Ellie and Gregory, my grandparents. I motion to my grandparents. It's nice to finally meet you, Gunnar says with the biggest smile. Ah, a man with fine taste finally snags my lovely, Gregory laughs heartily. How'd you do it, boy? Gunnar grins. I'd like to say my handsome face did all the work, but actually, his pause makes me look to him. I tilt my head, wondering what's wrong, but he smiles gently at me before looking back to my grandfather. It's actually Lovely who snagged my heart first. Loving her, well, showing how much I loved her. Made her fall for me, too. It's my turn to blush. I'm pretty sure Gunnar didn't mean it, but it doesn't stop my cheeks from growing warmer at his words. Well, Ellie speaks in her gentle and warm tone. I'm glad to know someone loves our dearest Lovely the way you do. She pats Gunnar's arm, and then she cups my cheek with her other hand. In my head, I'm apologizing since Gunnar is lying to her face. It doesn't help that you're a looker, Gregory adds, laughing again as Gunnar bashfully smiles in return. I bet that's all he is. My father's cold voice cuts in and instantly ruins the mood. Did you pay him to marry you, perhaps? My mother is just as critical, if not more. I bet he's a gigolo. Mother, I say in warning, but Gunnar just squeezes my hand as if assuring me he can handle this. You must be Lovely's parents. Don't try charming your way to me, boy. I'm no Greta. My mother raises a brow and takes a sip of her wine. Ugh, I want to push my mom, but that would only make things worse. Besides, what's your job anyway, Gunnar? Dad asks in a chilly tone. Oh, I'm the CEO of a wine enterprise. Gunnar answers calmly. The word CEO is music to my parents' ears, but they're not done yet. Mom walks to Gunnar, assessing him from top to bottom with judgmental eyes. How much do you earn? She asks. And what wine enterprise do you own? My father adds. I want to tear my parents apart, but Gunnar's presence makes me hold back from making a scene. He looks cool as he faces my parents. Toxic, Gunnar replies. Toxic, both my parents repeat in unison. And just like that, the two of them start to treat Gunnar differently. Why, that's one of the biggest businesses in the entire country, Dad says happily. He pats Gunnar on his shoulder. So I've been told. Gunnar returns my dad's smile. I'm actually surprised to hear about this little detail. I know he has his own company, and I'm a fan of his wines, but I didn't know he is listed as one of the richest men in the country. You have to take me there sometime, Father continues enthusiastically and talks about Gunnar's company some more. I don't like this at all. The whole scene is beginning to feel surreal. Even my mother is cozying up to Gunnar. A handsome, rich, and successful man? My, oh my, you're the perfect man. Mother chuckles as she eyes Gunnar like a priced meat instead of a human being. My mood turns foul. This is making me sick. Mom turns to me and smiles. I'm glad you found someone like Gunnar. I was beginning to worry you'll end up with that other one. I can tell Gunnar notices my shift of mood. And he's been doing so well too. But I can't take this anymore. You two should just get married to him instead. My outburst catches everyone's attention. I'm sorry, Grandma. Grandpa. I'm shaking in anger. I'm sorry, Gunner. I storm off after that.
Chapter 17, Gunner. I excuse myself from the conversation and follow Lovely. I don't know what I said, but I do know I have to make this right. I didn't mean to upset her. She dodges anyone who tries to catch her attention. I apologize to those people in her wake. If I'm her, I wouldn't want to talk to anyone either. I just hope she's at least willing to talk to me. She finds a private balcony and steps into it. I close the double doors behind us so we're not disturbed. Then I take her wrist and pull her to me until she's in my arms. I expect her to struggle out of my embrace, but instead she melts into it. I'm glad. I take this as a sign she's willing to talk to me instead of pushing me away. Please don't be angry with me, I say against the top of her head. Whatever I did back there to upset you, I'm sincerely sorry. She wraps her arms around my waist from inside my tux jacket and hugs me tighter. I tighten my hold as well. We take comfort in each other's warmth despite the cold night air. Resting her cheek against my chest, she says, "You don't have anything to apologize for. It's not you." Then what is it? What's gotten you so upset? My parents. She sighs. They keep treating me like I'm an errant child who can't do anything right. I'm not a pawn in whatever game they're playing. When you told me about them, I never thought they'd be this messed up. That draws a chuckle out of her. You don't even know the half of it. Did you see how they changed their tune when they found out you had money? I think all parents are like that. I rub my chin against the top of her head. I'm not defending them or anything, but I think in the back of their minds they think because I have money, they don't have to worry about their daughter's well-being anymore. What if I'd turned out to be a total douchebag? She looks up at me and smiles. I think they would still defend you if only for the fact you're loaded. They tell me to suck it up. She looks so adorable in that moment. I just have to pepper kisses all over her face. I start with her forehead. Then I move on to the tip of her nose and both her cheeks. I miss her mouth on purpose and kiss her chin instead, which gets me another laugh and a wrinkle of her cute nose. Well, good thing I'm not a douchebag then, I say. A total scoundrel maybe, but never a douchebag. Then I look deeply into her eyes, cupping her face with both my hands. I'm sorry they hurt you like that. She encircles my wrists with her fingers, rubbing her thumbs on the inside. Don't apologize for them. I'm just happy you're here with me to face the lion's den. That's when I give her a quick peck on the lips before I bring her in for an even tighter hug. Don't even think about it. I'm here for you. Whatever you need. I already had my suspicions you had money, but I never thought you were super rich, she teases. Let's just say, we can live comfortably. And I'm serious too. Lovely will never want for anything if I have anything to do with it. She pulls away and frowns. How can you say such things? What do you mean? I search her face for what I did wrong. I meant what I said. But you and me were only temporary. You're talking as if this is a forever thing. Did you forget that after this party we're getting a divorce? A lump grows in my throat and I have to force myself to say, I remember. She smacks my chest, but it doesn't hurt. I get the feeling she's just doing it for emphasis so I would pay attention. Then you shouldn't be so nice to me, she admonishes. Why is that? Because I might not sign those divorce papers if you keep being so sweet. Already watching you interact with my family tonight is making things hard for me. You're doing too good a job at pretending to be my husband. But I want to do a good job. It's the truth. I first came into this just wanting to have fun, and that's exactly what I had. What I didn't expect is I would enjoy myself this much. And you did. She backs away from my embrace. She turns around and runs away again. I'm stunned by what just happened. I thought we were doing okay, and yet she doesn't want me to do my best. The woman is a bundle of contradictions. I watch her retreating back and see tears glistening down her cheek when she steps into the light. She covers her mouth and keeps going. Even at a distance, I can see her shoulders begin to shake. I may not have been at fault earlier, but there's no denying I'm the one who caused her tears now. My heart breaks at the reality of the thought. I don't like bringing her pain. She should never cry on my watch. Being with Lovely, no matter how short a time, has shown me there's more to life I'm missing. I move from woman to woman without seeing the true value in cultivating a relationship with them. But with Lovely, it's different. I actually see a future with her. I want to make her happy. I meant what I told her parents. She's more important to me than I initially thought. My heart spasms at the realization. I'm in love with her. I love her more than I've ever loved anything in this life. She's worth more to me than all the money in the world. I want to make sure she has a good life, one I'm a part of. I think it's time to retire my playboy ways and tell her how I feel. It's worth settling down as long as it's with her. There's no one else out there for me.
Chapter 18. Lovely. Unable to take any of his sweetness anymore, I run away. When this all began, never in my wildest dreams would I ever have expected Gunnar to be so attentive and loving. He shows me the guy who can be my forever, a companion through the hardest of times and the best of times. I've been pushing away my feelings for him all week, but I have to admit to myself I've fallen in love with my husband. Damn it. No matter how much I protect my heart, I've let the feelings in, and now I'm stuck with them. Somehow, through the blindness of my tears, I end up in the powder room. Thank goodness it's currently empty. Everyone's too busy having fun out there. I pull a couple of tissues from the box and take a seat on one of the comfy chairs in front of the large mirror. This powder room has a small alcove in the ladies' bathroom where you can fix your makeup without having to stand in front of the sink. I dab at my face to dry my tears. Just when I think I can hide away until I suck up my misery and put a smile on my face, the door opens to reveal my grandmother. I turn away and wipe the last of my tears. Then I realize my folly since I'm facing a mirror and she can see everything. "Oh, my Lovely," she says in that voice, which never fails to bring comfort to my aching chest. She takes the seat next to mine and places a hand on the center of my back. "I thought that was you sneaking in here." I sniff and smile. "I'm sorry, Grandmama. Just give me a minute to compose myself and I'll be right out." "Pish posh," she waves away my apology. "My party can wait." My laugh comes out sad. She places her hand on top of mine and says, "Are you going to tell me what's bothering you? Does it have to do with that handsome husband of yours? I hear he's a hit with everyone, especially your parents." A fresh rain of tears rolls down my face. "Oh, Grandmama, I'm so ashamed. I've been lying to you all." "Are you saying Gunnar isn't your husband?" "No." I shake my head. "I mean, he is, technically." She squeezes my hand. "Lovely, you're going to have to speak clearer. You're old. Grandmama is getting on in age. Yet you don't look a day over 40. "That's only because black don't crack." She frowns. "Don't beat around the bush now. Tell me everything." And so I do. I tell her how Gunnar and I really met and how our wild night out in Vegas turned it into a quickie wedding, that we're planning a divorce. But I asked if we can delay it because I need to bring a husband home for this party. Now he's fitting in so well and he's being so sweet, I say through my tears. I'm sniffing and sobbing. It's not a pretty picture. "I don't see where the problem is," Grandmama says, handing me another tissue. I ball it up and dab at my face again. My makeup is going to be a complete disaster after this. No waterproof mascara works in a flood. "He and I both know after this party we're going our separate ways," I say. I should have been smarter about this. I should have just swallowed my pride and told Mom and Dad the truth about what happened with me. I take a deep breath and continue. Instead, I have to act all superior and prove them wrong by bringing Gunnar here. They actually love him, and now I'm the one crying in the bathroom with you. I'm so pathetic. Grandmama rubs soothing circles down my back. You, child, are far from pathetic, and I'd like to think I didn't raise you as such. But all this is a lie. If you think you're the only one who has a monopoly on stupid decisions, then you're sorely mistaken. Remind me to tell you about my 20s. I didn't used to be your happily married grandmama. Her words get me to smile. She lifts up my chin with her finger. When she looks into my eyes, I feel like she's looking deep into my soul. It's pretty obvious to me you're in love with that man, she says, articulating the truth I already know deep inside. So what if I'm in love with him? My frustration comes out through clenched teeth. It doesn't change anything. We're still getting a divorce after this. Lovely, you're already writing your story before it's even ended. She takes my hand in hers. Remember, it takes two people to have a relationship. You can't decide without knowing what he thinks. But I'm scared of getting hurt, Grandmama. All the more, you should fight for your feelings. You won't like to reach my age regretting not telling him how you feel. What if he doesn't feel the same way? Then at least you've said your piece. The lines of her face turned serious, telling the story of a life well lived. Do you honestly think you'll be fine walking away from him without having told him how you feel? I hear the truth in her words, but I'm still so afraid. I've never felt this way about anyone, Grandmama. I'm scared of losing him. You are no quitter, she points to the door. You go out there and tell him how you feel. Win or lose, at least you can tell yourself you fought your hardest. You're right. I suck in a deep breath. Of course I am. I didn't reach this age without breaking a few hearts along the way, but your grandpop and I are happy because we told each other how we felt. We gave our story a fighting chance. I face the mirror, open my clutch, and do my best to fix my makeup. My eyes are a little puffy, but not too bad. I'm not going to let Gunnar leave without him knowing how I feel. I'm going to tell him everything. That's my girl.
Chapter 19. Gunnar. I return to the party and keep my eye out for Lovely. I'm hoping she hasn't left because that's going to be a total bummer for me. I want us to talk. Since this is her grandparents' anniversary and she loves them, I don't think she'll leave just like that. So while I talk and mingle, my gaze jumps from one person to the next. I'm like radar, seeking for any sign of her. I go to the bar and grab a drink, feeling my throat dry up. I'm so nervous. I've never been this jumpy in my life, and that includes the time I started my brand. I've just ordered a drink when I finally spot Lovely leaving the ladies' room. I should have known that's where she'd go to hide. The weight on my chest eases. My relief is instant. Taking a large swallow of my drink for fortification, I leave the half-full glass on the bar and start making my way to her. From the serious look on her face, it seems she's looking for someone. Dare I hope she's looking for me. I square my shoulders and stride toward her. Her gaze lands on me, and she smiles. The kernel of hope blossoms into a full-blown tree. I've been looking for you, she says. Me too, I say in return. Then I take her hand in mine and ask, So you want to dance with me? She nods, and I turn to lead the way to the dance floor. Not once does she let go of my hand, not even when we finally make it onto the dance floor. I face her. She places her hand on my shoulder while I press my other hand against the small of her back. We're dancing close, but not enough for our bodies to touch. There's certainly room for the Holy Ghost between us. Even if I want us to be cheek to cheek, I'm respecting her space. I want her to come to me freely. No matter how much I ache to feel her body against mine, we dance for an entire song without saying anything. The next one starts and we keep at it, swaying from side to side to the beat. Her steps are in time with mine. She's actually a pretty good dancer. The entire time we're looking into each other's eyes, trying to suss out our secrets, find answers to the questions in our heads. When I open my mouth to speak, she does too. "Gunnar," she says, "I want to," I say at the same time. We share an awkward laugh. We're like two inexperienced teenagers, unable to express ourselves properly. "You go first," I say. "No, you go first," she urges, a blush on her cheeks. I don't like this feeling of uncertainty. We're both grown adults. We've seen each other naked. Why does it have to be so hard to carry on a conversation? As if reading each other's minds, we take a deep breath at the same time and speak in unison. "I love you," she says. "I have feelings for you," I say in return. Both our eyes grow wide as we ask each other, "What?" "No, you go first." She nods her head. Shaking mine, I barrel through my confession, or we'll be out here all night without getting anything done. Although to dance with her all night, that's not exactly torture. "I'm in love with you, lovely," I finally say. "I've been in love with you since the plane ride back to Vegas. Actually, not even then. Maybe since you slapped some sense into me." That actually gets her to laugh genuinely, for the first time since she left me in that balcony. The sound fills my chest with joy. It's as if all is right with the world again. "You love me?" she asks, giddy. "I happen to catch you saying the same thing," I say, wiggling my eyebrows. She rolls her eyes. "Of course I love you." "Oh, yeah?" She nods enthusiastically. "I love you like I've never loved anyone before. My grandmom was actually the one who told me to tell you." I look around. "What are you doing?" Lovely asks. "I'm searching for that beautiful grandmother of yours," I say, still craning my neck. I believe I owe her a huge gift this Christmas and beyond. She pulls me closer until she can rest her cheek against my chest. "Don't you dare leave me on this dance floor. I wouldn't dream of it." I hold her close, knowing no one else can fit in my arms this perfectly. We dance the night away. At some point, her grandparents actually dance past us. I mouth a huge thank you to Lovely's grandmother. She grins and gives me a thumbs up. Then when a fast song transitions into a slow one, I say, "I'm thinking we need to make this official." Lovely leans back just enough so she can look into my eyes. "Isn't telling each other our feelings enough?" "More than you'll even know." I rub the tip of my nose against hers. "But what I'm saying is, when we got married, it was just the two of us." "And Elvis," she corrects. I chuckle. "And Elvis. But besides that, we didn't have loved ones there to celebrate the momentous occasion." "Are you saying we should get married again?" she asks, excitement sparking in her beautiful eyes. I can already see the wheels spinning in her head. "I'm saying we should renew our vows in front of everyone important in our lives. Then we should throw one rocking party afterward. What do you say?" "Yes!" She jumps into my arms and I spin us both around. By the end of the night, before everyone leaves, we decided we should make the announcement. I bring Lovely up with me on the stage. There's already a microphone on a stand there. "Excuse me," I say. "Can I get everyone's attention, please?" Lovely laces her fingers with mine while every head in the room turns our way. A tingle actually happens at the base of my spine. I smile my widest. "Lovely, and I would like to take this moment to formally invite all of you to our vow renewal ceremony 6 months from today." Then I face Lovely and kiss her. Her grandparents cheer while the rest of the crowd bursts into a round of applause. All in all, I'd say everything turned out great.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
"You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you."
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
I can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Tyler Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 20. Lovely. We fly everyone we love to the vineyard out in California. It's a perfect day for an outdoor ceremony to take place. The place is even more beautiful than I could have imagined. We plan on taking our vows just as the sun sets, and the entire party will go on until the wee hours of the morning. Apparently, my husband is known for throwing the most lavish parties. The Three Stooges help out too. I've grown to love them, and they have welcomed me with open arms. Instead of holding the party indoors, Gunnar arranged everything as a super swanky, glamping trip for everyone. There are huge tents serving as each guest's living quarters for the night. There are also staff to help anyone who needs assistance. At any point throughout the night. I didn't even have to lift a finger. Gunnar took care of everything. He even enlisted Megan to throw me a bachelorette party. Of course, he jokingly told me not to get too drunk and marry the first guy who saves her off the street. In the back of my mind, I know he wasn't actually joking. I reassure him I was already happily married and don't even need a bachelorette party. This made him insist even more that I have one. To say I'm treated like a queen is an understatement. I'm driven everywhere. Everything is paid for. Good Lord, this is the life. Gunnar spared no expense. It's not even a simple vow renewal anymore. The celebration has turned into a full-blown wedding with a wedding planner, couture gowns, and suits for everyone. You only get married once, Gunnar tells me when I worry about what it's costing him. Apparently, it's just a drop in the bucket for him. I stopped asking questions when he mentioned something about fire dancers. He's enjoying himself way too much, and I'm enjoying being spoiled rotten. We renew our vows under an elaborate arch made of grapevines. The sun is setting, everyone is wearing pastels. It's beautiful. Then when the sun has gone, I discover the entire vineyard lined with twinkle lights. It looks like the stars have come down from the heavens. I have tears in my eyes the entire time. You did all this for me? I ask when he escorts me to our table, which faces everyone else. It's where the whole wedding party will sit. Gunnar and I will be at the center like a king and queen. Do you like it? He whispers into my ear. I love it. We share the sweetest kiss, much to the applause of our guests. In fact, that's not the only kiss we share. All throughout the night, when people clink their glasses, we're obliged to kiss. Not that I'm complaining. Then we play wedding games. I throw the bouquet, and Gunnar uses his teeth to remove my garter before throwing it to the waiting bachelors. William catches it. The teasing he got from the guys all night is hilarious. By the end, I'm holding the end of my skirt with one hand while carrying my shoes with the other. Gunnar is saying goodnight for us as I make my way to our special tent. It actually has a gossamer roof so we can make love underneath the stars. I enter and drop my shoes on the ground. There's a long table stretching from one end of the tent, and on top is a pyramid made out of chocolate truffles. I come up to it and pop one into my mouth. Gunnar enters the tent as well, and I whirl around to show him the card that went with the pyramid. Look, babe, I say. Parker gave us chocolates. Gunnar takes the card and reads it. Then he pales before he grins and looks at me, merrily chewing. How many of those have you had? He asks slowly. Just one, I say after swallowing. Why? Don't eat anymore. Why? Let's just say you're about to get very horny. What? Not 5 minutes later, I'm hot all over. What the hell is going on with me? My skin is tingling. Don't worry, my love. I have many ways to relieve you. He helps me out of my wedding dress. I throw myself at him and start kissing him madly. Every time our lips meet, it's like fireworks are exploding under my skin, while outside, actual fireworks light up the sky. I'm going to kill Parker, I say, as Gunnar kisses a line down the column of my neck. I feel like I'm going to burst. Case in point, I rip open Gunnar's dress shirt. Buttons fly everywhere. I push my husband onto the bed and don't even wait for him to get undressed properly. I undo the buckle of his belt and pull it off his waist before throwing it over my shoulder. I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at tylerwalker.com.
Miss Tyler has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyler would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyler. Chapter 21. Lovely. The vineyard is never more beautiful than during the grape harvest. Gunnar likes to be here when they are cutting the grapes from the vines. He likes holding them in his hands. He believes it's part of the tradition of what goes into making his wines. The love and devotion he shows in his business is even more magnified now. I rub my growing baby bump as I walk along the paths between the vines. It's been a year since we got married in Vegas. I can't believe time moves so fast. Pretty soon our daughter will join us in the family we've created. Gunnar is beside himself when he found out we're having a baby girl. He says it's his lot in life to be surrounded by beautiful women. I tease him that it's the universe paying him back for all the hearts he broke along the way. I can't help but smile when I see him with his workers. He has his sleeves rolled up, cutting the grapes from the vine. This harvest will go into a new vintage, which he refuses to tell me about. He sees me and waves me over. I maintain my steady steps. Wouldn't want to stumble and deliver this baby early. When I reach him, he embraces me against his side, and I lift my head for a kiss. He gives me what I ask for, but pulls back before our passions get the best of us. The thing about being pregnant, all those hormones make you utterly horny all the time. "How's my wife doing this morning?" he asks, a self-righteous grin on his lips. I pout for effect. Imagine my disappointment when I wake up to find my bed empty. Gunnar sighs as if being with me is such a burden. I have been squeezed dry, my love. Please let my great shaft rest, or I'm afraid it might fall off. Fine, I say. But tonight you better be ready. I'll make sure I'm bathed and powdered for your pleasure. We share a smile, warmth passing between us. Then he raises the bunch of grapes in his other hand and shows them to me. They have a pretty light, pinkish purple color. "This is going into a new rose," he says. "Are you finally going to tell me about this secret project of yours?" "It's not really much of a secret. Come, I want to show you something." He takes my hand in his and we walk toward the building where the fermenting vats are. It's a huge barn-like warehouse filled with barrels and barrels of wine, each of them varying in maturity. Wines take up from 1 to 2 years of aging inside a barrel before it can be bottled. That's how it develops its flavors. That's also where the vintage comes from. A little inside the entrance, there's a barrel with a spigot in place. That means it's about ready for bottling. It's an exciting time for the company when a new wine is introduced into the market. He takes a glass and releases some of the deep red liquid from the spigot before he hands it to me. My doctor says there's nothing wrong with tasting a little wine. It's actually good for the heart, as long as I don't get drunk from it. I bring the glass to my nose and inhale deeply. Do I detect some black cherry? Good nose, he says, pouring himself some and smelling it as well. There's also a hint of vanilla in there. I sip the wine and allow it to sit on my tongue for a moment before swallowing. It's good. I can taste the vanilla. This wine was pressed and barreled on the exact day we got married in Vegas. He looks into my eyes. Apparently, one of the calls I made that drunken night was to my foreman here, telling him to create this vintage. My heart squeezes. What are you saying? He takes a bottle from a group on a table beside the barrel and shows me the label. It's a silhouette of a woman with curly hair and the name of the wine in cursive below. My name. Tears flood my eyes. Being highly emotional is another consequence of pregnancy. Aged a year to perfection, he says, placing a hand on my baby bump. I named a Merlot after you. Oh, Gunner. I take his face into my hands and kiss him. This is probably the best anniversary gift ever. Not only that, he gives me a cheeky grin. This is the Merlot Dickerson Rhodes and his wife Ivy have chosen to carry in all their international resorts. The deal went through? I ask, pretty much bouncing on my feet. Whoa, he holds me down. You wouldn't want to jiggle my daughter out of you, do you? I force myself to stop moving. Why didn't you tell me? And ruin the surprise? Come on, this is way better. I'm breathless. But there's more. There's more? He shows me the grapes again that he placed on the table when we entered the fermenting warehouse. This batch of the rose will be for our daughter, delicate with a little bit of kick to it. Something befitting the sharpshooter's daughter. Please tell me you're not going to give her some ridiculous nickname too? I will never live it down. He takes me into his arms, my baby bump coming between us in the hug. How many times do I have to tell you I didn't choose that name? Then what name will you be choosing for our daughter, huh? I was thinking, Syrah. Syrah, I repeat. What made you think of that name? He points at the Merlot he named after me. It's the name of the grapes which make up your wine. Again, a new wave of emotion goes through me. Why, Gunner Sharpshooter Clinton. Who knew you would be the sentimental sort? Only because one night, I saved a woman who ended up saving me in return. Do you mean me? I ask, touching my lips against his. Yes, you. Always you.